I do. Eventually it works.
We are streaming and recording.
I did,
Actually, this went, this is their senior
Okay.
year. And
but it's,
so he doesn't want to miss any tennis
Is it still the
matches
year
or
that
anything.
it's
The issue.
Like you do that.
it's, this is a
Yeah.
new one.
So, and you know,
Yeah.
he had his health scare last year.
I think
and
it's
after
probably
that, he
needs
was
to,
like,
the law, it's the law
I may
itself.
not be
of
here. I'm not missing
1965.
another thing with my voice.
You were on, I didn't have a chance to really go through.
You know where Maria?
So
Falls is?
I still couldn't.
You're down
This
maybe
concerns
three
me.
houses on the other side.
Live streaming on these generally cut down with the audience in person these days, or as a
We've all done after it's done.
Be nice to me, guys.
You're all good.
I get
Hey, I've got six.
I
You guys
like
ready?
being in my backyard
Okay.
and like, you know, it's complete.
Let's open up with the pledge then. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did somebody get the stream?
Yeah.
Streaming.
IT stud hit it.
Okay.
Is that your official name?
Yeah, let me beat the screen and I'll knock this out in a timely fashion. So I guess formalities and everything, I don't know how formal we gotta be since everyone in the room has sat through this, I think once, maybe not Chris, but. So Jesse Wilson, president of the Lewis Gas Education Association, AKA the Teachers Union. And this year is a bargaining year, so fingers crossed on a new 2-year contract to be determined. The state of Indiana requires us to do this every time we go into bargaining. So this is the first of the meetings. It was properly posted by the corporation. I am now doing this in a timely fashion. There is, to my knowledge, not anything that is new since they passed the law 4 to 6 years ago. So what we can bargain, what we can't, basic finance, regulatory restrictions, courtesy of everyone's favorite herb. Teachers Union has exclusive rights to bargain salary, wages, and fringe benefits, including accident, sickness, health, dental, vision, life, disability, retirement benefits, and paid time off. So bread and butter stuff. The list of what we can't bargain anymore. Once upon a time, this was a possibility, but that was slowly changed by the state. So hours of work, class size, budget appropriations, among other things. Calendar, although we do have some input on it. Teacher dismissal, funding for remediation, and so forth. So they also require that we point out that in education, there are 2 separate funds that we draw from and want each of those due and how they are funded. And even though there have been recent changes to property taxes, all of that is essentially still the same. So we are paid, obviously, teachers and staff out of the one fund, buildings and everything else. The lights are kept on with the other fund. Our timeline, technically, I'm here right now. We have not had informal bargaining just because we haven't gotten that far. But as soon as the clock strikes midnight and it hits September 15th, we can formally bargain with the corporation. And honestly, we just have to have my UNICERF director and your attorney get together and hash out dates to meet. We can then have until November 15th, September 15th, 60 days. Hopefully a tentative agreement is reached in a timely fashion to draw people in when we need them and retain those that are already here. Public testimony is allowed at the ratification meeting, which will be a board meeting of probably November, earlier hopefully, but also November if necessary. And then along the way, if you hear stuff, ERB is the Indiana Education Employment Relations Board. They're the ones that come up with fun stuff like a PowerPoint for bargaining. Or requiring it, let me put it that way. And then the important stuff is, pretty straightforward. State laws, board of accounts, and so forth. So, realistically, again, I probably took longer than I should have since you've all mostly sat through this. Sherry, do you have any commentary? Any members, questions, comments? I don't think this is anyone's first rodeo, so.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming in.
I'll see you at some point.
Checkpoint.
Yeah. So, and if, as I say, reach out to me, or if Rick reaches out to your lawyer, however we set it up, we'll go from there. So easy peasy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take that,
Oh, yeah.
Jesse.
I'm trying to be somewhat
Appreciate
a
that.
Thank you.
housekeeper there. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, Sherry, since you're the only public hearing, you're gonna talk later. We're just gonna skip the. We are all here, by the way. All right, Dr. Dockery.
Beginning of the year school update, I think everything started off, really well. Enrollment update, as of right now, the schools are reporting 1268, which is up from our winter count, by close to 30 students. So, you know, as long as we, over the next week or so, we'll see kind of does that number settle out once we get everybody in this current enrollees and everybody out that has left the district, and kind of see where that number goes from there. But otherwise pleased that we're there, 92 students for the kindergarten class. So not the highest, but also not the lowest. So kind of a nice mid-level for that class and where I would expect it to be. Just update the student of the month. We'll bring that back in September and start doing that again so that we can get some kids here to the board meetings. Summer construction work update. So the stadium is really close, working on punch list items and just final details. So if you haven't had a chance to go out and look, ticket booths in, the fences that go with the ticket booth are there. We'll be planning to do some other things in that area over time. It would be nice to have some kind of an arch or signage there to say main entrance, and so people really can see it as a focal point. But I think kind of a nice finish, and one of the things you can't necessarily see on the back end, but there's a nice concrete pad that leads from that walkway as well to make it a lot more accessible for people as they get in. Anything you can think of, Chris, on the stadium to highlight at this point?
I mean, it looks good. They're finishing up. They put the windows. They were here until 8:30 last night installing windows. They're still there right now finishing up the windows. The concession stand, they're pretty sure they're going to be 100% wrapped up with it by end of day tomorrow to be ready for Friday night. Things are going. They have a lot of little items like a ding and a piece of metal or just little stuff like that they're working on getting completed. The press box they're working on right now is supposed to be painted tomorrow morning, so everything's coming together. I mean, it should look good for Friday. So,
That's scrimmage night.
yeah, Friday night will be the scrimmage. That's the goal, is to try to make it. That's gonna be the first big show of everybody being here. So
Is it Logan?
Logan Sport. So there's gonna be a lot of people. We got little things that went wrong in there, that stuff that we couldn't help, like one of the lift pumps just overnight between yesterday and today went bad. So we're gonna have to get that replaced, but for the most part, it's doing.
Did you replace those pumps?
No.
Okay.
No, we
I
did
didn't
not.
think so. When I was in there, I thought they looked like they were.
Yeah, it was still the original pumps. And the one that went bad, I mean, you guys can remember back when Scott Mannering was coaching, it was going bad then. So,
I mean, they used to grow out pretty good.
yeah, so, I mean, when it would go off, everybody in the bleachers could hear it.
Yeah, and
So-
you could talk in there.
Yeah, so
Good talking long.
it just finally went out. So, yeah, there's just little things that we're working on.
Neola policy update. We have a special update for you guys to consider tonight. These are really just the ones that this keeps us in compliance with what the legislation was this last General Assembly meeting. So my recommendation would be, the recommendation by Neola as well, to adopt these as written. There weren't the choices in this like there are with some of the policy, and then move forward with getting the rest of our updates caught up here over time so that we can get completely caught up.
It is not, so we probably should just go ahead and
Vote on it.
vote on it. So,
Is it on the consent agenda?
No,
it's not.
Yeah.
So, is that all you want to make comment?
that's
Yeah,
it for me.
So, entertain a motion to accept the recommendations as recommended also by Dr. Doctor.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So that passes.
The next piece, insurance proposals. We had two that, we've really been working with that come in. One, S-Craft is the trust. There's about 80 schools in the state that are made up of that trust. And so they were able to provide us with a quote. I included both in the packet so you guys could take a look. It's a lot to dive into. So really the high level information, if you take a look at just the things that you can compare apples to apples on, overall cost, the trust is a little bit higher. They're quoting us a number of $270,832. The Walker Hughes quote, that's the 251,389 is reflecting the reinsurance buyback at 100,000 for all of our facilities, which I don't want to say that was the Cadillac version of that, but it's close to it. You could actually see that number go up a little bit if we do some tinkering to try to get that deductible on the reinsurance down to $50,000 instead of $100,000. The recommendation, Jackie and I both met with both groups. At this point, I think we really feel a lot more comfortable, not only on cost, but just with having a local agent and our own representation with going with Walker Hughes, which is going to insure us through CM Regent. This will essentially get us a 1 year with them, and then we can go back out to market again next year once we've addressed some roof issues and things like that, and hopefully get what would even be a better package going into next year's session. Do you have anything you want to add to it? And I will just say, Jackie and Chris and this whole group, this has been it's been a really involved process for them. So I appreciate their hard work on getting this done. That included Jason and putting them together a lot of the HR stuff in the background, and Matthew Snowberger had to provide a lot of the cyber stuff. So there was a lot to this beyond just getting these quotes together. So I appreciate all the work that they did. And Chris, I think you could probably start charging for tours on the roof because you did a few of them.
Late
Right
night
up there.
tours.
So yeah. So my recommendation would be, and I also kept it out of the consent because I feel like if you guys have any questions or things like that you want to ask, I want you to have a chance to take a look at it and vote on it from there.
Does anybody have any comments? or
I
questions?
already asked them.
Okay, yeah.
I think we move forward.
I would entertain a motion to accept Dr. Doctor's recommendation to go with Walker Hughes.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's it for me.
Ms. Gray.
This one is a little different. I don't have the superintendent's report and I don't have a full appropriation report because the bank accounts are not yet reconciled. Our Unum direct debit took out a different amount than what they invoiced us for. That affects benefits on the employee and their employer side. So I need to get those corrected before I close out July. So once I get the fund to bank balance and get those reconciled, then I can email that stuff. But right now, this is just the information that I thought was, there won't be a lot of changes on these because the funds and the balances won't change much. If they do, they'll be down here in these 9,000 accounts. So, an update on the negative balances in these clearing accounts. This was, I think I mentioned last time, but Christy, you weren't here. There's the two-sided funding in the accounting, and for these accounts in EFP, for some reason, there was a liability side and not an asset side to offset it. So we've been working on this diligently, and CompuTrol has been working on this diligently. So we should have those cleared up here pretty soon. Any questions on the fund report?
On that thing that you just said, so those numbers that are negative down there, up top, that something else is gonna be less by those negatives. Is that what you're saying? Like the numbers are overstated at the top?
No,
Okay,
there are just the offsetting entries were not in the system. And so right now, there's just not an offsetting entry for these. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that one of the other ones will be adjusted. It just means that where there was a liability, there was not an asset, and that side has to be posted in the system. Well, it not really.
so your bank rec doesn't total to this total?
Well, my bank rec isn't completed yet.
I mean, like in previous months, cause I thought the bank rec, I could be wrong, I slept since then, but the total of this fund report with the 9,000, doesn't that match to your bank rec?
It does.
So then, how is
But-
that possible?
because-
I don't need you to answer, I'm just,
Okay.
when they get it all done, will it still?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. On the appropriation report, we are in the end, we're at 61.76%. And that's in the education fund. In the operations fund, we're at 46.46%.
No yellow flags or red flags for you?
There's nothing I watch these balances to see what are negatives, and some of these negatives are just simply because, well, like I can see one here, the 27010 is negative 33,000. That's just because I need to move that money around between the 120 and the 120.41. So the ones that are negative, I just need to make some appropriation transfers. There are not any of the balances that are alarming or that I'm really concerned about that we won't be able to fund.
Okay, so it means no yellow flags, I'll trust you if that's what you say, no yellow flags, nothing, okay. All right.
Nope.
Okay.
The Form 9 has been completed and accepted. The annual financial report has been completed. And I'm waiting on the certified net assessed values in order to fill in some of that information on the budgets. I have some of the budgeting information filled in. I had the capital projects done and the bus replacement completed. It's just now a matter of waiting on the certified net assessed value to be posted and to get that information.
Any questions?
Thank
All right. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Jason's out tonight. Everybody's had a chance to look at some HR stuff. We got a lot of new people. We're voting on some more new people, so. I have any questions on that or any comments?
No.
Heard.
Well, now the state requires me to have you guys know about my routes.
Or with your
And-
routes.
Our routes.
Really?
Yes, you have to approve them.
Yeah, we did not, this is
Yeah.
something that is completely new to
It's very, very.
both of
new.
us. So we only got
What's the
this
point?
through,
What is the
I don't know, but it was the superintendent of Rossville who is he's the, yeah, Dr. Hannah, he's the rep for our area as far as superintendent's group goes. So he'll send out reminders of things that have to be done. Well, apparently by September 1st, you have to have a report out to the board about your transportation system. It doesn't give you any guidelines as to what that report out actually is, but Sherry's here and she's gonna share some information and
So it may not
Yes,
really be the routes, it's just more of the general
Well, it
review.
just, yeah, I would say we right now between, we have 2 little pre-K that we take over. We have 46 that we do back and forth to Polytech and, we have a couple spec ed routes that are going right now. And, we are transporting about 1,060 kids,
1,060?
1,060.
Out of 1268.
And we still have that many cars coming
I was
Oh my
getting ready to
God.
say, where's all the cars? I mean, what, are
Yeah.
people lost?
There are a lot more, except for, you know what, 92 for Phil Burton is packed to the brim, and he has at one point in time, he has 92 on his list, and if God, not all of them right. And, our Kokomo and one of our stops at Grissom, she has 70, it was like 75 maybe.
Hmm.
And then our other 3 stops at Grissom and just a few out, Chetpipe, he's in the 70s, 70 some too. So our out of district is packed, and I do mean packed.
Maybe our count's not right.
I hope that that's the case. I hope that I will be the first person to say, I hope that you're, whatever number I'm getting, incorrect.
I would be
Yes.
interested to know at some point on the count is what is our out of district? It's jumped from 16, or 15, 16
Oh.
and up to over 20. Last I remember.
What, like 250 kids? Like, it was almost.
I remember it was like over
20%.
I
over
just know.
20%.
My out of district people, I mean, we are packed. We are truly packed.
So you have what, 2 pickups in Logan,
I have 2 in Logan.
1 at
I
Kokomo.
have 1 in Kokomo at the church, and then I have 4 at Grissom. We had to make another one to make it safer.
Uh-huh.
So I moved one to Georgia Warhawk, and then we go all along North Lincoln at Westover, Shaw, and Warhawk. So yeah, we have a lot.
Cool.
And I gave Dr. Daughtry just an uplift, but here is like, we are stretched to the brim. And I also give all my route people that are in town, they get these for Walton and Galveston. And then I also have one for me, because I'm telling you, Grissom is just like a maze.
Yeah.
It is
It's
crazy.
like Indian Heights, you get there, you get lost and never find you.
It is so crazy. So anyways, I just wanted to give you some facts of how many we're doing, and I gave him I did like a spread of where they're going to and where they stretch from north to south, east to west on each route, and how many we have. And I have something that I share with him and Jason, that if for some reason I wouldn't be and there would be an accident, all they have to do is go in, it's updated, I update it all day long. And they can go in, pull that out and just head straight to the accident, and they've got the updated list. So that's about it.
Do we actually need to make a motion? We approve your routes? Is
Yes.
that- We did?
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
that's crazy.
we do, and because that's something that the state is wanting, and I'll tell you, I am by far not the only one that just was like new, holy cow. And I have to reach in 5 direction, and he's like, they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, so.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve Sherry's transportation report that she so adequately supplied to us.
Second that? All right.
And one other thing you might like to know, we've been in 6 days, we've had 5 stop arms.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my.
5, and they've all been ticketed.
But don't go far. I got a
Yeah.
couple questions.
Yeah.
Very high level, but don't go far.
You wanna vote? Yeah, so all in favor of this motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Like we were gonna say no.
5-0.
Good job.
You're approved, all approved.
So, you're gonna know this like well, first of all, thanks for all you do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Second of all, on the stop arm violations,
Yes.
what happens with those?
They get a ticket, and they have to go before the judge.
So do we
now.
catch them on our camera on the stop
Absolutely.
arm? And then
I've
do you have
been
to-
there when that happens.
Do
and
you
the
have to
judge is
download
not
that data and send it to somebody?
No, he comes down to me, our SOR officer does.
Oh, and he takes care of it then?
Absolutely. He comes down, I send him a picture and say, okay, we need to talk. And
Mhm.
he'll like, oh my gosh. And then he'll come down, he'll video it. And we had a guy that actually was arguing and fussing with him. And I know the sheriff, well, we do too. you know. And he sent it, and he called Ed Schroeder and called him, and he goes, oh yeah, Sherry's got the video, and they've seen it. And he goes, I'm calling back personally and letting him know he will be having a court date.
That's $1,000 fine.
Yeah.
Is it
Should be.
really?
It should be.
I
Absolutely
think
should
the
be.
first event is 500
Good.
plus court costs, Second one is either 1,000 to 1,500, and then the third one is 90 days.
So when I was in
Wow.
court, it was
Yeah, that's
$1,000.
Yeah.
Lady pleaded guilty and,
That's across, I think that's kind of across the board now is what they've come up with.
oh, should be, every bit of it.
Yeah, and I mean, they were blatant, so,
Do most of them come head on or from the rear?
oh,
They pass
head on,
somebody,
oh, it's head on.
always head on.
We've only had two, and that was last year, and they were going so fast and went off to the side that passed on the right-hand side, which is absolutely horrifying,
Horrifying.
horrifying.
God.
And it happened twice as they were coming. She was stopped, as you're coming into Galveston on 35. And right past like I forget what the road number is. Anyways, right there where that like, oh, it was an old, I guess, root beer stand or whatever. And there's that row of homes before you get into that, like the storage units.
Yeah.
It's right there, and they went off, and they about took out the mailboxes. It was horrible,
Oh,
and it was twice last year. And so poor Vi Young, she was just like, yeah, but she ended up grabbing the backpack of.
Do the new buses have any
kids.
more safety than what the old, I mean, as for lights or anything?
Not real, I mean, everything, and when we've updated, I've made sure that we've gotten the outside cameras and stuff, so, and I have the newer ones and the better ones on our busy roads, so 18, we've had a few on 29, we've had a few on, we've had several on, 218, Lokesport Road, that was one of them where it came from, so it's just everywhere.
You know, we've seen your thing about the new bus with diesel. The gas isn't available for over a
It
year.
would be a year and 2 months. I talked to him this week.
What's the difference of cost?
Not a lot, maybe about 5, 6 months, but when we're talking 4 months compared to a year and 2 months.
I know, but I'm like Ryan, but these diesels are so,
Oh, I know.
Do we have to make a move in the next year? That's just my question.
I would like to get one so I can get the money used for this year. to get
Do we lose it if we
appropriated.
don't use it this year? Can it be rolled over into 26?
If we have a purchase order,
Okay,
we can
we
pay
can
for it.
roll it over.
But it would be like, it wouldn't be January, it would be a year from this January, it'd be a whole nother year, maybe even a year and 2 months.
January 27th.
Yeah. And we've got a bus we gotta get rid of because it needs a new engine.
Yeah, I'm not trying to talk you out.
No,
I just wish
because
that-
that's the way I would have
Yeah.
went in
If
a
going
heartbeat.
forward is if you know this is the route you want to go, you may have to start forecasting a
Yes.
year in
Looking, yeah,
advance.
way in advance.
Cause
Yeah.
we started going to more gas even on pickups,
Oh,
even
gosh,
for things
yes.
that we, just because the emission stuff on the diesel and the
They-
diesel, it's just crazy. It's
Yeah.
60% of our repairs now is everything emissions related with
Well,
diesel.
they were talking about that on the news this morning, and they were saying that it's clogging up, it's clogging up everything, and it's leaving truckers,
Oh, yeah.
farmers,
It's-
every bus driver stranded, and it is. And so, but yeah, there's one that I really need to just.
From a 5,000 foot view though, how big of a bus can you go with the gas engine? As far as people?
78,
Okay. Do you have to have buses larger than that, based on what you just said with the
Yes.
90%? Okay.
yes.
So you have to have at least a
I-
handful of diesels.
This
to
one
do
will be
something.
at 81, and I'm getting an 81 because it's a conventional, but they add another 6 inches on.
Okay.
None of the rest of them do that. Bluebird and Curl do not do another 6 inches, and I'm telling you, that 6 inches, when you've got kids that are tall and long legs and they're sitting in the back, that 6 inches makes.
So
a
all
world of
3 of
difference.
them is a year out on gas.
Oh, no, some of them, but Curl doesn't even, they don't even, mess with gas, to my knowledge. I've never even quoted with them. It's IC that I've always did the gas, and I've had a lot of good luck with them. I just hated that it was so far out. And he said, and that's a ballpark. He said it could be longer than that,
Because everybody's doing what we're
Yes.
talking about. That's what it
Yes.
is.
which makes me sad, but it is what it is.
Didn't we get one last year that somebody didn't take delivery?
Yes, 72 passenger, and I was thrilled to death. And they gave us a heck of a deal, but those are long gone, and it's like long, like 3 times the weight as what a diesel is.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you very much. Well done.
Anybody else?
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you too.
This year. So me and Dr. Guthrie have been working a lot on the roofing. And everything. We originally was talking about doing a bunch of the flat work and then the insurance company told us we had to do the high stuff above the gyms and then all in all, then we find out that the insurance company wasn't gonna stay with us anyway, so let's go back to our original plan, what everybody else has recommended to us. So we scroll down. For the map, the roofing.
You want the
sorry,
map?
Yeah. Everything that's in red is what we're looking at re-roofing. So,
What did we replace 2 years ago? Didn't we replace 2 years ago we talked about?
so 2 years,
Or-
nothing's been done that I know of since, the project started with the old bond.
That's what I mean, the
There-
15
So
million
the
dollars.
original plan was this section right here,
Yeah.
Yes,
over into here, but it never got done.
oh, it never got done.
No. So, me and Dr. Daughtry have spent quite a bit of time with them. Our worst section of roof that we have, like, if you get up there and look at it, is this section here. The worst section we have when it comes to leaks is these three sections here. So, I started talking with the architects, we've reached out to another architect, trying to get them involved. They ended up telling us they don't have time to deal with it right now, so we went back to KJG. Started really digging in with them, and what we're looking at right now, the plan is to, these three sections here to have done this fall. Cause none of that is over classrooms except for the band room, so you'll have the band room out here. But this covers the band, the cafeteria, the corridor going down to like the maintenance area.
Are those different layers when you say A, B, and C, or is that all one layer?
So B is like 2 foot higher than A, so
Yes.
it's all different
That's,
steps. of the roof.
that's
Yeah,
newer.
so B
B and C should be newer.
should be newer.
I mean, newer
It's-
built.
Yeah,
It's
part
not
of, it was part of like the 78
78,
edition.
yes.
So that section there is in pretty bad shape. We're getting a lot of leaks over top the band room. This section's the cafeteria, kitchen, the maintenance office, that corridor through there. Pretty much everything, like your auditorium's all right here. So everything next to the auditorium. We have quite a bit of leaks in that. And then this is over top of the actual boiler room. And every time it rains, we have water pouring in. Like it's just, and I mean, we patch it and then the next time we have another spot 5 feet over. So these sections we've looked at, it'd be great to get these done this fall. To get the ball rolling on the roof stuff. But everything that you see, we're looking to put out the bid. So what they would do is they would bid this as section 1. They would bid this as section 2, which would be in the spring to summer. So
Is it realistic to get it done this fall, being that we're halfway through August now?
if we get you guys to approve it tonight, the architects are already working on it.
Bid specs?
They're working on the bid specs. We're looking hopefully by mid-September to have it out for bid.
And they think a contractor would still get it done. I mean, if you have a bid out in September, you wouldn't have signed everything till mid-October, and you think,
It would be a push, I mean, as long as material's available, then, so,
and a contractor
The
available.
contractors, but
so right now, like Wolf Contracting that did the, elementary edition. Like they know that we're looking to put this out for bid here and doing it in the fall.
Are you gonna put a specific timeline on it? Because that'll probably raise the price. If you tell somebody they have to be done by
If they-
Thanksgiving,
If they come back and say, I mean, to me, our goal is to have all this done by next summer.
yeah,
So to me, it's, okay, if we're waiting until spring to start, then we'll fight through this through the winter.
okay.
And if it's gonna keep our price down. It's just, the plan is by,
and he's right, because just like my street hasn't got finished with Reeve Riley, but
Mm.
I give them the time frame and they came in 100,000 below everybody else.
yeah. and that's-
Because they can get it into the fall.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's gonna be worked out.
Yeah,
Like, we're noting in there that we're hoping to get it started, but the actual deadline is the end of summer.
okay, all right.
So, cause like a lot of these areas, so the good thing is we don't have a lot of wet areas. So the foam underneath our membrane is not ruined. We have like, there's like a 10 by 10 section here, and then I think it's a 12 by 16 section over here that's wet. And then right in this corner right here by the roof, by the unit, we gotta redo some foam there.
So that membrane, they can, once we do this, and if you go to D later on, it can be tied in, no big deal.
Yep, so the plan is, the way that we're specking all this out is we're only gonna replace the foam where we need the foam replaced. And then everything else, we'll get a 1-inch, recovery board put over top of the membrane, because by state law, we're allowed to have 2 layers on our roofs. So we're gonna put a 1-inch recovery board over it and then remembrane everything.
Somebody's gonna pay for this in about 15 years.
Well, I mean, the product we're putting on is a 30-year product.
Okay.
So it's a
45
60,
years.
it's a 60 mil.
No,
product.
I think it's the best thing to do. It's just like adding shingles to a roof. At some
Yeah.
point, you gotta pay the piper.
So at some point, you're gonna pay for the demo.
Won't be in our.
What's this estimated cost? This is,
So the estimated cost to go back is the 1.8 mil.
and that's to do,
That is to do everything. It's actually, the estimated cost from the architect is 1.4. The estimated cost from AAA, back when we were talking about this originally, was 1.2. I'm telling you guys 1.8, just to make sure that we are covered to get this done. It's, nobody's been able to give me an exact answer. So, back when we were working with that Garland, they were estimating this same section to be at the 1.8. So everybody's numbers came back a little bit different. I kind of took the higher number. If you go back to that map. So this is, everything you see here is the main issue that our insurance companies are having problems. Like, everything has been coated. Where you see the gray is the coating that is peeled off of it. When they put that coating on, I'm guessing nobody in Florida that has to be redone yearly. And it hasn't been touched since they put it on.
so if we get all this replaced, I guess my question for you, Dr. Daughter, are they thinking that, you know, that could really help these premiums moving forward, or is that just the agent saying that?
That's the agent saying it. But it's consistent with what we heard throughout the process with Astra too, was that the roofs are our issue. And so, I don't know. And me personally, my concern with anything with roofing is I just think wind, hail, and storm damage is gonna be an issue in the insurance industry-wide from here on out. So it's the same thing with residential. So I don't know if there's any guarantees, but it certainly does help to shop it around. We can say, hey, we just put this new roof on. And go from
And this
there.
money will come from,
That's the bond, second bond.
If you scroll down, Jackie.
Will you have to do something annually to this new coating?
Yeah.
So this is all new membrane. Now you want that, I mean, you put it up there. Technically, you shouldn't have to touch it. for
is that at the
25.
top of the page, is that new membrane where it's real white up there towards?
So Astra, our old insurance company, told me that all of our roofs had to be replaced. They weren't gonna stay with us unless everything got replaced. This is all in really, really good shape. Brett,
Okay.
Kane, and a couple of the insurance guys that I've met with, everybody is pleased with this. The sections that are in red are what they're questioning. But we're in pretty good shape up here. And then if you go down, it's like this is our 2016 edition. This is in pretty good shape. The next sections will be this here and then this strip up here, which is over like the offices and the athletic department.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're looking at bigger portions. Let's get, well, you have the bond money. Let's get the big portions done.
Yeah.
Let's get the majority of the worst part of it out of the way. Even back when we met with Garland, these sections here, they were writing up as fair. So you're 5 years out from needing those. These ones here are the ones that back in that paperwork.
So who did the elementary? You say they know we're putting out for bids. So are they local? Where are they?
They're out
Indiana?
of Wolf,
That Peru?
I think they're Fort Wayne. I think they have a stop in Kokomo, like they used to be, they had an office in Kokomo, but I'm not sure their office is still open.
I mean, I'm with Ryan. I think this late in the game and you think you'll get bids, but realistically, you're probably lucky if they start next year.
Yeah, I'm just.
I hope not. I hope they
Well,
start.
If you're gonna demand that they get done by Thanksgiving, we're
No,
gonna pay more
and-
money.
I think our demand is gonna be by the end of summer.
Okay, yeah,
So like this section here, if they have a window
sure.
that they can come in and do it, I'm gonna let them come.
Well,
in and do
yeah,
it.
definitely.
And that's kind of what, like AAA roofing, they've been our leak guys that we went to since I've been here. They've been great to deal with. They all know it's coming out.
All they do is leaks. They don't do.
No, they do roofing as well. I mean, they're the ones that just did the patchwork on our gym. They're ready for it. They understand that there's gonna be a big portion that's gonna be
So
available.
just to simplify this, we got membranes that just gonna be laid down side by side, right, on the roof?
No.
No,
So you got, right now you have, so it's like a rubber coat,
sure.
think of like a pool liner.
Yeah, we've been
okay.
there.
It's pool liners down there now. You're gonna come in with an inch, 1 inch thick of recovery board, which is like a black thick, fiber board.
Okay,
It'll go over top of that membrane,
Yeah.
and then your new membrane will come on top
so
of it.
what, is that membrane rolled on?
It's
or-
rolled out, glued down. It's,
So it is like a mat?
Yeah,
right?
it's a-
Okay,
it's-
so my question was, if in 5 years, there'll be a gap in the mat?
no, so it's a minimum 6 inch overlap per
Okay.
state code.
So in still
And
in
it-
5 years with something, there's a leak somewhere. Is it the installer's issue? And you may not be able to answer this question now, or is that a roofing thing? Cause you're saying it's a 30-year warranty.
So,
Is it a he
so
said, she
the
said
product,
kind of a deal?
the product is a 30-year product.
Sure.
So, but you like most of your roofing companies give you like a 5-year warranty on the
Project.
material and labor.
Okay, all right.
And then,
After that, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes.
Now, being you got architects on it, are you gonna spec this as specific type of membrane and companies?
we're looking at TPO, which is like it's a poly, membrane.
Good quality.
It's pretty much, it's made out of the same stuff that your PVC pipe is.
Okay.
But it's made in sheets. They come in, I think they're 12-foot wide sheets. It'll be 60 mil thick. They glue it all down. It'll look seamless. I mean, it'll look just like that when you're done. It'll be
An HDPE kind of a
Yeah.
program.
So I guess my question, and I'm not a roofer by no means. In a perfect world, is it better to rip all of it off and just start over, put down over the other foam?
It's more expensive.
You're spending a ton more money if
Okay.
it's not needed. I mean. you're-
Well, but like Ryan says, is that gonna give you 30 years instead of 15? That's my
Well,
question.
so you're not allowed to stack membrane to membrane because it does eliminate it will
Yeah.
eventually wear on that upper layer. So that's why they put that 1 inch of recovery board in between it. And I mean, all of our slopes on our roofs are good. If our slopes weren't there, like a lot of roofs that was done back in the 60s and 70s are just flat roofs.
Mhm.
But all of our slopes have been foamed, everything's
And
got
that's
good-
fine. I'm just curious. I mean, now me, I'm like, Ryan, if I'm gonna get a roof put on a house, I just tear it off, put on there.
Yeah,
I know it costs more, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be a lot of money to rip out that.
yeah, if you, I
I
mean,
mean,
if
it would
you're-
be for somebody to have. a
Yeah.
roof.
well, and really,
I don't
so
think
the other thing is like, even down the road, 30 years from now, when you go to tear it off, you don't have to take it all the way back down to the deck. If your foam is still good,
Mhm.
you don't have to take it all the way back down. So what they'll do is they'll take it off and they'll peel that bottom layer. They'll pretty much peel loose. Most of your foam will stay nice. It'll peel if you ever look at that roofing foam, it's paper, then styrofoam, then paper. It'll peel that paper layer away. And then the recovery board will be put right back over top of that foam and you can re-roof it again.
In 25 years, it'll be a robot doing it anyway.
Yeah, could be.
So A, B, and C can be done pretty much anytime because it's not over classroom space, right? So if they couldn't get it this fall, they could start.
They could do it in the
Or
spring.
okay.
Spring, yeah.
Would we say that they can't get over classrooms until the end of school?
Yeah, that's.
That might be a little
it's
tough too.
I was gonna say, if you're
If
talking
you're expecting-
band's a class, so they're gonna have to do the band room, so.
Yeah, so they're making noise anyway, so.
Same thing Pete said to me. Like I was talking with him the other day, he said to me.
You're doing over the cafeteria. If you're disrupting my lunch, I'm gonna be aggravated.
Those kids
Why would
will
they?
help to drown
They'll
out.
be loud enough.
Yeah, and one thing to kind of consider on getting it started in the fall is that a lot of these that do school projects, their big ramp up time and their big time is summer. And so sometimes you will find some roofing companies that they'll take a look at something like this and go, yeah, if we can get some work done in the fall, we'll come and do this, get it done, and then we'll have a smaller project to attack during the summer. That means more jobs they can do during that
Yeah.
time. So we might get lucky.
I
and
hope so.
like that.
And I mean, both contractors I've talked to, they act like, well, it's no big deal to come in here 1 week and bust this one out. And then, okay, if we get another opening where it doesn't start getting bad weather until.
If you're happy
January.
with them, I'm happy with them. That's how I
Well,
look.
like the actual, what we need to look at is the architectural's cost. As long as you guys are good with it, then we're gonna proceed with KJG. They're gonna write up all the specs, they're gonna draw all the drawings. And they're gonna be there for notice, like if I have a question, if the contractor has a
Their
question.
total cost is 35.5, no matter how much, it's not a percentage of the bid.
No, it's 35.5, and then if for some reason, I think, I have to go back and look. There's like a small cost if we have to have them come down to run a meeting. Like if there's some major issues that we run into, there's a small fee there, but for the most part, I'm gonna proceed.
There's
with
no
it.
other soft costs, I guess is what I'm trying to, okay.
So,
I don't have a problem with it.
Should we go to proceed?
absolutely.
Entertain a motion to proceed with the roofing project using KJG as the architect to go up that plan.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Chris.
thank you.
No old business, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. And so the only thing that we really probably should specify is amend is under item J, number 5. And specify that Nicole Amor is a part-time Spanish teacher. Anyone else have any questions on it? All right, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda with that change to J5. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No donations, there's no public comments. Anything else you want to add?
Don't think so. I mean, I'll combo up with, in case you were gonna talk about it, but the state board approving, the redistricting in the one school, and you had said that might be different than ours, just based on how new the school corporation is. But at least gives another example. I think Decatur was the other one that had done it just recently. Was it Decatur?
I'm not sure, but I was familiar with
Yeah.
this one because, I've been working with Lisa Tanzel. She apologized. Her summer is their busy year as they get ready. I was looking to her maybe for some guidance on her knowledge of other attorneys maybe who have had experience with, amending or altering plans. She had mentioned in her email to me in June about she had contacts in the Secretary of State's office. She's kind of backed off and said it'd be, she talked to people at the State Board of Education. She's reached out to 2 retired attorneys who she knows were involved years ago in plan amendments. She was excited. Late today, she said, hey, Julie Slavens had put her on to the most recent Indiana State Board of Education meeting, and Dr. Daughtry handed me 6 pages because just recently there's been a change at Tri Creek, that's in Lowell, Indiana, Lake County, I believe. Tri Creek School Corporation, I had,
You did the whole thing.
Chris gave me 6 pages. I
That's the
pulled
whole
up
thing.
90 today. And I was delighted, folks, the counsel, the attorney for this was Michelle Cooper.
Oh, nice.
I mean, now I have kind of a contact.
Right, yeah.
I mean, of course, I can't commit her, the board, without board approval, but it's someone to start with. But the key question goes back to the age of our corporation. As Lisa said, John, these are just good forms, but she goes, that doesn't answer the initial question of what does Indiana Code 2023-427 A mean when it says that the criteria to amend a plan for elections does not apply to school corporations created before March 12, 1965, because those school corporations, and were created January 1, 1963, the word shall operate in accordance with the plan under which it was created and the statutes applicable to that plan. Lisa said, John, literally reading that, it sounds like a school before March 12, 1965 can't amend its plan, at least under the current statutory scheme. But she said, as you know, and I said, I agree that maybe we can be creative, but a plan's a big undertaking. Changing it, you want to get it right. I mean, there's a 120-day protest period. The board will do a resolution. We have to publish that resolution. The resolution would be an agenda item, so we have to have that notice. We have to publish notice in the newspaper. You approve the resolution. There's a 120-day protest period. Then it's submitted to the Indiana State Board of Education. And there's, looking at this stuff, there's a lot of demographical charts and maps that are done and so before we start something, I just want to make sure I don't have the answer yet, but what I do now have, I'm seeing at least the names of 2 counsel from the Indiana State Board of Education, so I'm gonna start with them. One of them is this Jeremy Owens, and then Michelle had written to Philip Gordon, also a counsel with the State Board of Education. So I don't know, Lisa was excited about this Tri Creek just because it's something, the newest plan to be approved, but I was excited because Michelle Cooper's involved, and this school uses her.
Mhm.
She's been either co-counsel with me or, as you know, separate counsel when we've had administrative contract terminations. She would represent the superintendent, I would represent the board. We all know that.
Do we need to give you approval to reach out to her and see if she's on board, or when you ask?
Well, maybe I have a relationship with her to at least start a conversation. What do you think, Michelle? Is this something I can do, or is this something, how hard was it for you to do a fairly
When you're
modern
saying
school
120
corporation?
days and 120 days, now all of a sudden, that's 2/3 of a year. So it's like, time frame wise,
Time to get rolling.
yeah, time to make it happen.
And she has the forms already. I don't think
Yeah.
we'd be opposed to having her
No.
assist in any way, shape or form, but.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what I was excited, before Lisa, her email said, I don't know anyone who has experience in this, but now she has 2 retired people. She thought they might be good because they were doing these back in the heyday. 60s, 70s, or 60s. But, I'm gonna start, I'll reach out to Michelle, but I'll reach out also to the gentleman counsel at State Board of Education.
Sounds like a good plan.
Great work.
Yep, thank you. All right, get to the board. Any comments? Ricky, you got anything?
Well, I appreciate all your hard work on this, Chris, and just like with Sherry, I think moving forward, Mr. Daugherty, it looks like like Ryan says with the school buses, it's almost like you gotta be ordering 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a planning, and I hope that we can get everything done and it comes in at budget or under budget, that would be great. Just, I appreciate all that work. It's not an easy task. That's for sure. I mean, I know on my end here at the town, it's the same thing. So,
Wait for, if she's gonna be looking at another bus next year, then order the gas now.
yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to comment.
Yeah, we know what the money's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's all I got.
Thank you, and extend to the rest of the office staff. Thank you. I know what a pain that is to do a new insurance crap. They ask for something, then you don't give it to them exactly how they want, and then they want it 10 different ways, and it's just a pain. So I really appreciate all your hard work to get us to that, because we had no other choice. So if you didn't get that
You're
done,
welcome.
we would be royally in a bad spot. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Any comments?
I just want to say thanks, Chris, for getting the stadium ready for the first scrimmage game. You know, that was kind of interesting. So good job and seeing that through.
Is that the scrimmage or the game? That's the scrimmage on here. Is that a
That's
game or scrimmage?
scrimmage.
It is, okay,
Scrimmage.
okay.
I don't think we could play a game, Cats versus Logan.
Not this year?
Well,
A few years ago, we would have said yes, but you're not saying
well,
that.
it's not that. It's, I mean, last year there was like 3 fights out there between
Oh, gosh.
players and.
Cass and Logan? Oh, really? Oh, so you're
Well,
saying
it
we
was a
wouldn't
lot.
make it all 4 quarters?
I think it'd be interesting. Hopefully it's a lot calmer this year.
All right, okay, all right.
I don't have anything to add, just glad that the start of the school went smoothly and. look forward.
Yeah, I think you better check that count. She's hauling what'd she say, 1,080?
60, yeah.
It's a 60?
That's way too many cars in the.
Way too many cars, unless people are just lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her number might be a little.
Well, I got
inflated, so.
3 people on that bus that only use it occasionally, so
I used,
Okay.
I used to be a transfer, and let's just say sometimes your load levels are not necessarily your daily load
Yeah.
levels. So
Okay.
your could be.
Gotcha.
Your could be.
hypothetically, she's transporting that many. Probably not reality, so, but I will, again.
You'll take it if that's the
I'll
case.
take it.
All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Everybody said aye.
Yep.
I Chris, I emailed you my username and password for Board Docs, so you can look and see what it looks
Awesome,
like from
I
our.
appreciate it, yeah. Cause I gotta get used to that new system.
It's,